So leadership today isn't about doing more. It's about knowing what actually matters and having the clarity to lead from that place. If you've ever felt successful on paper, but stretched thin, overwhelmed, or quietly questioning your direction, you're not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Hope, and welcome to Lead with Clarity and Purpose, the podcast where strategy meets leadership, and where confident, values-driven leaders come to realign how they lead, work, and offer their impact to the world. Welcome to Lead with Clarity and Purpose. I'm very excited that you're here today. Before we go further, I would like to go ahead and introduce myself. I am Dr. Hope, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. This podcast is for leaders, executives who feel accomplished, who are actually capable, strong, doing excellently well, but feel uncertain about clarity. So you may be here with me today as you're watching this or listening to this, and you're asking yourself, am I clear about what my tomorrow is? My hope for you today is that you will come away with tools to help you really in your journey, because clarity is really the foundation that shapes everything we do, how we live, and how we show up in our personal lives as well as our professional lives. Have you ever found yourself asking, am I capable of doing this? Who am I? I have all the credentials, but I don't feel I have what it takes to do the job. Some days I feel like I can do the job. Some days there's this fear within because I just become unsure of who I am. I just want to remind you that you are not alone. I'm going to share my own personal story with you. And it's about how I started my journey. A couple years ago, when I wanted to start my business, I was on a crossroads, just like you, wondering. I did not have clarity on the way forward. I felt stuck. I felt like I needed to be everywhere, talk to everyone, connect with everyone I needed to connect with. But that did not give me all the answers or the clarity that I needed until I sat down and I asked myself a series of questions which I will be sharing with you during this podcast. And I'm hopeful that as you ask yourself those questions, you'll be in a better place. And hopefully not just a better place, you'll be able to make those decisions that you found heavy or you've probably experienced you've not been able to actually answer. But let's take a look at some confidence myth that's out there. That myth that you have to have all the answers, that you have to be the first one in the room, that you have to move quickly, that all the T's must be crossed, all the I's dotted, just to show that you have confidence. But you and I know that that's not the truth. Because in order for you to exude confidence, you must, first of all, have clarity. It's not the other way around. Clarity is what gives you confidence to do your job, to execute in your role in an excellent way. Without clarity, you know what happens? Your confidence is forced. It feels forced. Maybe you find yourself in the weeds. You're not delegating. You find yourself wanting to be everything to everyone. You find yourself maybe questioning yourself, doubting who you are, unable to even make decisions. You find yourself struggling, all because there is no clarity. Leaders who struggle with a lack of clarity will oftentimes face indecisiveness. You're not able to make decisions. So if you're watching this today, or you're listening to this podcast today, you find yourself at a crossroads of indecision making. You find yourself delaying, procrastinating on certain things that you know you ought to do, you know you're capable of doing, but you find yourself procrastinating on those things. Or on the other hand, maybe isolate yourself. More than likely, it's tied to a lack of clarity. And a lack of clarity can cause you to forget who you are, lose sight of the leader that you are, with so much power, so much strength, so much skill. But due to lack of clarity, it brings uncertainty, and it causes you to doubt who you are as a leader. The thing about it is that when you have clarity, none of those things matter. You don't suffer from making decisions. You're confident in who you are, confident in how you show up, confident in what you say in the room, confident in how you lead your team, simply because you know what's important to you. So what is clarity? Let's break that down. Number one, it's knowing your priorities. What matters to you? You know, we can't have all 4 or 5 things cannot all be a priority. But I want you to think about, what is your number one priority? And number 2, what are your values? Oftentimes, what you're going to find is that your values are tied to your priorities. So number 1, what are your priorities? What's a priority to you right now? Not what's a priority to your colleague, to your leader, or to that family member, but to you personally. What is that priority? It's important for you to know what that thing is, because that's where your breakthrough lies. And I'm going to say this again, that your priority has nothing to do with the other person's priority, because you are unique in who you are. So what matters to you should be something that you're open to embrace. And number 2, uncover your values. What are your values? I had a conversation with a lady the other day, and this is a great client of mine. And I asked her, what are your values? And this is an executive. And the leader said to me, Hope, I really don't know. Are you in a similar spot? Do you feel like you don't know what your values are? And I'm going to share a quick tip with you on how to uncover your values. I want you to ask yourself, what are those things that I will never negotiate with? Give yourself permission to embrace those things that you come away with. And as you reflect, write them down. What are those things that you know you would never negotiate with? Those things that you uncover are really your values. And number 3, what no longer serves you? Maybe you find yourself in a cycle. You find yourself in a rhythm. You find yourself doing one thing or another, but it's not yielding you positive results, but rather the same thing. You're getting the same thing. Nothing has changed. So identify, what is it that no longer serves you today? I'm not talking about what did not serve you yesterday. I'm not talking about what is not serving you tomorrow, but this moment, today. What does not serve you anymore? Uncover what that is. And number 4, what do you deserve? That might be a hard question. You might say, come on, Dr. Hope. I don't know. I don't know what I deserve. But hey, I'm giving you the opportunity. It's a free gift to you. Give yourself the permission to uncover and tell yourself what you deserve. Because when you are honest with yourself, when you're honest with what you truly deserve, then you're truly making space for the next step, for the future that you're looking forward to. And when you answer all of those questions, identifying your priorities, identifying your values, identifying what no longer serves you, and number 4, uncovering what it is that you deserve, now you're on your path. You're on the pathway to gaining clarity. Because by gaining clarity, you're able to move forward. You're able to stand up tall when you walk in the room. You're able to lead your team in ways you've never been able to lead them before. You're able to share your feedback in that meeting that you've been holding back on. You know what I'm talking about? You know that meeting that you go into but you dread saying something because you're not sure if you're going to be saying the right thing? You know exactly what I'm talking about. So when you have clarity, when you know what your priorities are, you will not wait for anyone. You're not waiting for permission. You're not waiting for validation. Why? Because you know who you are. You have clarity. You have confidence. And you're able to walk into rooms that ordinarily you would not be able to walk into had you not understood what your priorities were. So as you go through, as you're pondering, reflecting on what I'm sharing with you today, I really want you to pay close attention to the fact that without clarity, you will not be able to execute your leadership well. It does not matter how many people you're leading in your organization. It does not matter how you're leading personally at home. But if you don't understand what your priorities are and what your values are, you're missing the foundation for growth. As I said before, when you have clarity, oh my goodness, you are able to do things you were not able to do before. Confidence is not forced. Simply because you know you. You're not waiting to get that recognition. You're not waiting for somebody to say, oh, by the way, you did a great job. None of that. Not that it's not important. It is important, but you simply just know you. You have a step in your walk. When you're walking, there's a step to it. How? Why? Because you know you and you've got a newfound confidence. And all of that is as a result of you gaining clarity. So as you're listening to me today, I want you to pay close attention to those steps that I shared with you. But why do leaders lose clarity though? Yes, we're in a world where things are changing. Minute by minute, day by day, second by second, things are changing. And one of the things that gets in the way of leaders losing clarity is busyness. Maybe you're a leader listening to me today and you're saying, yes, busyness, because we're constantly busy, busy, busy. And when you're busy, it's easy to forget what's a priority. It's easy to forget because we get caught up. You get caught up in the moment of trying to make sure that all the T's are crossed. But you have to learn to step back and ask yourself, is this in alignment? Before you get busy, is this in alignment with my priorities? Is this in alignment with my values? Does this serve me? Does this serve my team? Number 2, noise. Noise is another factor that gets in the way. It causes a lot of discomfort when there's noise, because when there's noise, you can't hear anything. Just think about it. As you're watching this, just imagine you hearing noise in your own environment. What does that do? That noise basically distracts you, stops you in your track. You're not able to focus. So when there's noise, you're not able to focus in the work that you're doing. And all of those are external noise. So you always have to remind yourself, if I'm in a space where there is noise, does this serve me? Or is this to my detriment? Is this causing me to lack focus? And you're the only one that can answer that. And number 3, you being unsure of your personal goals. That's another thing that causes leaders to lose focus or lose clarity. Maybe you've been in your role for 20, 30 years. And it gets to a point where you feel, you know what, I really don't know what my goals are anymore. Could it be because you've been in the role for too long? Things have become maybe mundane, or things have become a routine. There's no newness in it anymore. You know, what used to excite you doesn't excite you anymore. What could it be? When you begin to feel that way, it's an indication that there's a misalignment, that you need to check on something. You need to revisit yourself. You need to ask yourself, what's serving me and what's not serving me anymore. So I'm not sure where you are at in your leadership journey. But there are some reflection points I want you to refer to or reflect on at the end of this podcast. I really want you to ask yourself these questions. Number 1, where do you feel most uncertain right now? In this season of your life, maybe you've been in your role for 10, 20, 15 years, or even 5, or maybe 1. Where do you feel most uncertain? And as I ask you this question, and I'm asking you to please be honest with yourself. Give yourself that permission to be honest with you. Where do you feel most uncertain? Number 2, what decisions are heavy on you right now? What decisions are heavy on you right now? And number 3, what are you avoiding? So I gave you 3 questions. Number 1 was, what's uncertain right now? Number 2 was, what decision is heavy on you right now? And number 3 was, what are you avoiding right now? When you sit and answer those 3 questions, you'll gain more clarity on what's next. Thank you so much for being with me today. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear your comments. If you have questions, I would love to hear them. Feel free to comment them. If you have not already subscribed yet to this podcast, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast. We're very excited to have you. We will be having another episode coming out here in the next few weeks. So I encourage you to please go ahead and subscribe. That way you do not miss the notification when it comes through. But once again, thank you for being with me today. Lead with clarity and live with purpose. See you again soon.